You mentioned CBA, and I don't know if like you're on Twitter all the time when people somehow always just bring up the CBA somehow
Bashing
salary.
me and CJ all the time.
Okay. See, this is my question because like Chad, if you don't know, Grant is the first vice president of the Players Association, so he's on that executive board with CJ, who is the president. And I guess like for the fans, because I feel like they're very harsh with the players association. It's always someone to blame, which is usually CJ, and like kind of all this blame about how you guys messed up this CBA and this is why the situation is there any insight you could give fans on things that they don't necessarily understand when it comes to negotiating a CBA, and also if like the criticism CJ gets at times is even fair or right when they kind of don't understand all of the intangibles of it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're fair, honestly, just in terms of like not no, I'm not trying to protect them either, like or even myself. I think that what you realize is, you do your job is to do what's best for the players and try your best. You're not going to be perfect. You may not make the right decisions every single time, but you strategize, you try and make the product the best possible for fans as well and for the guys that are coming after you. So in terms of where the money's going, in terms of off the court, in terms of anything you could think of that's within a CBA negotiation, from play rules, from financial aprons, like that's another thing, creating exceptions, all these different things. And a lot of times we're not even the ones technically negotiating all of it. Like we're part of the decision making process, and some things we might not even be informed about when they're agreed to. So that's, sometimes where we have to, I think we have a great group of guys, especially this current executive committee is, I feel like, is very, very dedicated. New additions in Carl Anthony Towns and Gabe Vincent and the guys that are on the board really do care. So we never want to do things that we feel are inappropriate or wrong for the players. If we look at this current CBA structure, it brings a lot of parity. I think that you see across many sports leagues. You see in the NFL, you really don't really know who's going to be the Super Bowl champion at the end of the day. And they have success in their product. Similar to, like, if you look at different other sports leagues, you look at baseball, you typically know the teams that spend the most because they don't have much harsh tax penalties. Typically are the ones that play in the final. You look at last year, it was the Yankees and the Dodgers. You look overseas to European markets, you look at the Man Cities, you look at the Liverpools, you look at the guys who are the top spenders in the leagues, those pretty much dominate. So with the NBA, you don't want, I think that was this current CBA structure. What happened was, the Golden State Warriors had that success in the past because the Lakers and those guys did a phenomenal job of not only drafting the team, but also spending and capitalizing on the time that they had their window. And that's the thing about the current CBA structure, is that you don't want teams to lose based off their draft. Like a team like Boston prior to this year, where they traded for Drew and Kristaps. When I was there that year, that team was Jaylen Brown drafted by the team, Jason Tatum drafted by the team, Peyton Pritchard, myself, Rob Williams. Like you don't want those teams, like a team like Cleveland right now, who drafted all their players. Like you don't want them to have to leverage or sell off their players because they're running into harsher penalties, not being able to move. So these are things that we can take into the next CBA and pick things in and out and say, okay, this might be too cruel. This might be too harsh. This is something we have to adjust to. So, this is one of those things that this current CBA was kind of addressing the past structure. And, we've learned a lot from this current negotiation. We'll be able to take into the next one and help not only the players that are currently playing, but the next 10, 15, 20 years of guys that will be able to play after us.
Yeah, that gives great perspective because I feel like every time a trade happens or money talks happen, Twitter's in flames. They're like, CJ, you did it. You're the problem. You did the CBA. And I'm like, there's so much more to it that maybe you don't understand until like how you explained.
And there's a
And
lot
it's
of things that
like,
come up.
yeah, they're upset all the
There's a lot of
time.
things that you don't even see, like even in terms of like we previously were never allowed to invest alongside ownership into companies. So say for example, back in what was it, 2011, or back when Kevin Garnett was playing, he wanted to buy AS Roma, the soccer club in Italy. But because his current owner at the time had a percentage of the franchise, I think exceeding 5%, he couldn't invest. Versus if you look at that
Hmm.
that organization to date, if he would have purchased back in 2011 and even sold his portion to date, he'd be close to 100 millionaire, if not billionaire,
Wow.
based on that alone. So these are the
Wow.
things that like you have to talk about in negotiations as well, not just from the basketball product, but from the off the court in terms of life product and being able to, take bits and pieces. We've experienced what the bubble looked like and saw how the social impact investment that the league had come out of it came from the players on our side as well. So like these are things that I feel like don't get talked about a ton because they're not really pushed out or even, published. These are things that we're just doing behind
Mm-hmm.
the scenes. So it's all about making the best impact for the players of this current generation. And honestly, not even just the players, but the people that are surrounding them, people that, whether it's the communities they want to affect and impact, whether it's the, um, family member that has no real understanding of the financial structure or the things that go into being an NBA player. These are all things we're trying to protect players for.